Welcome to Inside IT Automation, a Scriptrunner production.
Okay, so here we are with another Inside IT Automation episode. In a different setting, we are at the European Collaboration Summit in Wiesbaden, and I'm sitting here with Erwin van Hunen, the father of the PnP PowerShell module.
The father,
right?
there we have it again. Yes.
So looking forward to talk a little bit about that, of course.
Yep.
Maybe we're going to cover music as well.
Who knows?
We have this in common as well, as we found out.
Yep.
And I attended your session this morning where you kind of looked back on PnP PowerShell as it started and what it is right now. And maybe you can kind of explain a little bit what was the inspiration to start building PnP PowerShell back in the day?
Back in the day, I was a consultant, and I got so tired of building these console applications that had to do something. A small thing could be create a list, add a field, whatever in SharePoint Online. And every time I wanted to repeat that, I had to either modify that application, connect to a different tenant. So a lot of still repetitive work. And it just annoyed me every time I had to launch Visual Studio, make a change, compile it, run it, and whatever. And then over the time, that little simple console application started to grow, and I added switches to it and to make it a bit more flexible. But then I was working already with PowerShell for like I don't know how long since it was available in SharePoint on-prem. And then I realized why not do PowerShell? Why not make a scripting environment for SharePoint Online? And that's how it all started.
So was it SharePoint Online or SharePoint on-prem?
No,
both, right?
Both.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. True. Fair enough.
Okay.
So basically, what I did is I looked at what kind of APIs are available, and for me to use on-prem and in the cloud, and that was CSUN. So So in the beginning we had SharePoint 2013, 2016 later, and 2019 later, and online. So there were, at one moment in time, there were 4 versions of that module.
Okay.
Depending a bit on what you're going to do. There was always the fallback version of SharePoint Online, which effectively worked with all the on-prem versions too. But there was a lot of handling and a lot of weird build scripts that we used to build those.
Okay.
So finally, we decided to drop on-prem. The usage was also
going down.
drastically different. Compared to the online version. So we kept only doing the online version.
And so at this point already, obviously there was the Microsoft module, but so you were thinking maybe we could do things in a better way?
The Microsoft module was very much focused on administration.
Yeah.
Very much doing administration on tenant level. So global tenant settings and those kind of things. Where we were focusing very much, and we still are, on site level. On artifact, on Teams level, Teams channel level, or on SharePoint site level, those kind of things that you cannot do with the Microsoft version. The Microsoft version is actually not being updated. Well, they add commanders every now and then, but it's not using modern authentication. So actually, it won't run in the modern PowerShell.
Yeah.
You have to do all kinds of weird tricks there. So it's very outdated nowadays.
And you started it on your own, or whether from right from the beginning multiple people
No,
involved?
it was me on my own for years. The first couple of years, it was just me. And of course, community. I mean, there were people writing pull requests. There were people in my session this morning that I've known by name for years already. I've never met. Actually, one of them came up to me after the session. It was the first time I met him in person.
How nice is that?
Yeah. But he's been helping and doing things. But it was just me for I don't know how many years, and then my work changed also. My role at work changed a bit, and I couldn't handle the amount of work that was connected to it anymore. It didn't work out anymore, and so then I got a couple of other people to join me. So there's now 3 other people helping me. One of them works for Microsoft. The other ones are independent.
But it's still a relatively small team. And how many commanders are part of it?
700 plus, 735 or something like that, 58. I don't know the exact number, but because it's growing every day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Over 700.
I mean, that kind of, you must be really proud of.
I am extremely.
It's like seeing a child growing and, millions of people using it.
Yeah,
Must be.
it defined my career.
All right.
It is the reason where I am today,
Wow.
and it is mind-boggling. But yeah,
And I mean, but you also spent a lot of time doing it. But obviously it was fun because otherwise you would.
No,
have done it, right?
exactly. I did spend a lot of evenings. It was an evening job.
Yeah.
I mean, during the day, at the time, in the beginning, I was a consultant. Later on, I started to work at product companies.
Yeah.
Being a product owner, being a CTO, and whatever.
Yeah.
But so it was only evening work, effectively.
Okay.
And
Wow.
lots of it,
This is really like
and a lot of fun,
and passion, right?
passion. Yeah.
And so when did you start using PowerShell in general?
Wow, that must have been basically SharePoint 2010 when it came, when the first that was new to me. Before that, it was STS ADM, and was you remember in the SharePoint 2007 time, this STS ADM executable, and then in 2010 they came the PowerShell module came out for SharePoint on-prem server side.
Okay.
That's when I started to work.
Okay. I mean, this is quite a journey, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So if you would have to explain someone, what are the top reasons why somebody should start using PnP PowerShell?
Right.
What you
Top reasons.
What would you say?
I would say the scope of what we support.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only SharePoint, it's also Teams.
Yeah.
It is also Planner even. We have commanders for Planner. So it's the scope that we support. Scope or coverage, if you want to call it. Maybe coverage is a better word. The sheer amount of commandlets available to do things. And if you are a developer, you can actually just use just a few commands and get a full codable context from it and write your own C# alike scripts if you want to do that.
Okay.
If that is more comfortable with you, go with. So either you go for like an example is get PnP list with all the lists in the site.
Yeah.
But you could also say, give me the web object and then go to the list property or list collection and do things with that. So there's several ways around it. And that is because it's very much based on the underlying API, the system API, that you have that flexibility.
And I guess also, I mean, one of the reasons I think why people love using it is documentation.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, we try to be as complete as possible. Yeah.
Awesome. Actually, because we are in the PowerShell business as well, oftentimes run into customers saying, we are only using officially supported PowerShell module.
Yeah.
And I had a discussion with another person like 2 weeks ago who said, finding reasons why it would make sense to use PnP PowerShell. Like he said, yes, we can use the Microsoft module, but this will take me 2 weeks to build what we already could have in PnP PowerShell. Do you want to pay me for it?
Exactly.
Exactly. So do you run in this kind of discussion as well?
Of course. I hear people say it has to be. We need an SLA in place. We need to get paid support for it.
Yeah.
But, I'm not sure. Maybe you saw it in the session this morning when I asked how many people actually asked for support from Microsoft.
Yeah, and who got support?
And who actually got the support. And that was a shocking number.
Yeah.
So you can on paper say that I have support because I pay for it. In reality, the moment you start to launch a somewhat more complex question, it just stops at the support you get at Microsoft. I get it also because it's a very complex topic for them. Whereas with PnP PowerShell, if you have an issue, we will very likely look into it and try to fix it, and it could actually be fixed within a day. Even.
Okay, wow.
Because if you're lucky, within a day. If we see it it's a small fix, bang, we write a code change, we publish that, and the next day there will be a build available for you.
Okay.
So you don't get an official support contract. But it's not only the 4 of us. That's good maybe to point out.
It's the community.
It's the community. It's 4 people that sort of maintain it.
Yeah.
But it's the community building it. Everyone. So all the problems
and answering questions.
But also the solution, the problems that they try to solve are community driven. They're problems that live in the community. They want a solution for it. It's not because Microsoft thinks this is a problem. No, it's actually a real problem. That's why there's a commandlet coming.
Yeah, these are all, I think, really important and valid points.
Yeah.
And one thing that you also mentioned in your session this morning was you asked a question like, okay, do you use MS Graph? Yes. Who loves doing it? Not so much,
No,
right?
no.
Which is, I think, I hear that a lot. When I went to one of the food trucks, I was next to one guy. We started talking about MS Graph, like, do I use it? Yes, if I need to, if I have no other chance, but it's not fun.
No.
So I guess this is something Microsoft should address, right? In a
Yeah,
way?
but the thing is, they have a different philosophy there when it comes to the Graph. They call it also a very specific PowerShell SDK, System Developer Kit. So, how I translate it in my head, and I haven't got this confirmed, by the way, but this is just how I see it. Their Graph commandlets are designed for you to build commandlet modules
Yeah.
in PowerShell. So you build your
Okay.
own PSM1 files, basically your own module files,
Yeah,
your
okay.
own commandlets in PowerShell, which you don't need C#,
Yeah.
you can write them in PowerShell, and then you use the Graph SDK to build those commandlets. So it's basically an SDK to build commandlets,
Okay.
but not sort of designed to use on its own.
Okay. So there is some kind of misconception out there.
Yeah, because you need to be a developer. You need to understand the Graph.
That's exactly what I always see myself and hear from other people. I'm an IT admin.
Yeah.
I want to load a module and off we go.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't want to know, like, okay, which Graph endpoint do we need
Yeah,
to use in
yeah,
order to
yeah.
actually accomplish
Exactly.
this? No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
You just want to be able to
Yeah.
do this.
But then
So-
there's some big misunderstanding out there. But
Yeah.
but on the other hand, Microsoft is really pushing towards using
Yeah.
Graph. So probably there must be some kind of middleware coming up where it simplifies the job for the IT people.
Yeah, the fundamental difference is that because it's the Graph is big. There's so much you can do with the Graph. For them to build something alike PnP, where you have like functional commandlets that
Yeah.
do a thing and maybe multiple things in one execution, it would be a lot of work for them. And they decided the Graph SDK commandlets are generated.
Yeah.
So they have basically a piece of code that works its way through the whole Graph API, and then for every endpoint creates a commandlet. And the result is that you get also really long commandlets.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Totally unreadable.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because it's fully automated.
Yeah.
There's no human interaction
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Same is true with the documentation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you see any solution coming from Microsoft?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't see anything happening on that end.
Okay,
No.
but I
No.
guess it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves, because everyone I'm talking to, when we talk about MS Graph, like, well, they're rolling their eyes. Yes, we know we need to use it, but
Yeah. No.
it's difficult. And
Yeah.
I mean, with our solution, we try to simplify it a little bit, because you can define a graph target with the app registration, and then you just take this target and say, okay, this is the one for mail, this is the one for SharePoint. But still, you need to have all this logistics
Yeah.
kind of being
Yeah.
configured first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is something we have to wait. Maybe
Yeah,
if something.
yeah. I mean, it would be wonderful if they actually fix it. I mean, but if they come up with something, but I don't see how.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So maybe so not to take too much of your time, to kind of wrap up the conversation. So where do you see PnP PowerShell growing? Like, or coming back? What are the numbers exactly? Like downloads and
Over 30 million downloads.
more? Amazing.
And we register, from what we know, 20 billion commandlet executions per month. Billion.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And when you ended your session, you were also encouraging people, start getting involved. So where can they go to?
Yeah, they can to GitHub. GitHub. If you go to github.com/PnP,
Okay.
that's sort of the top level for everything that PnP does.
Okay,
Because
okay.
there's way more than PowerShell.
Yes.
There's all kinds of other libraries and modules and things and whatever.
Okay.
So that's the top level.
Okay.
Go there. You can also go to pnp.github.io, which
Okay.
is the main web page.
Okay.
Because the other one is the repository with all
Yeah.
the files.
Okay.
But pnp.github.io is the main landing page, and that's a nice designed page. And then you
Okay.
can click into all the projects
All
and
right.
learn about what we're doing, who we are.
Yeah.
We have a YouTube channel. We post
Okay.
very
okay.
often videos there
Oh,
too.
okay.
So there's documentation, videos, examples, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. Cool. And so we're going to add all the links into the description of the video once it's online, so people can check it out.
Perfect.
And not only start using it, but trying to participate. And as you mentioned in the session, it's going to be reviewed.
Yeah.
Because it needs to follow some quality standards, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, we look at it, but it's not only code that we're looking for, by the way. It's not only developers we're looking for. We're also looking for people that like to write documentation.
Okay.
I know they exist. They really exist. No, but people that enjoy writing documentation because they need always documentation.
Yeah.
We make typos, or maybe the examples can be better. Those kind of things. But also what we do with in general PnP. So we have twice a week free to attend sessions online.
Okay.
There are Teams calls. You can just dial in there and listen.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you are a developer or you have a product that is sort of related and you give it away, for instance, so there has to be like open source or something like that, and you want to show that, you can get in touch with us and you get your 10-minute block in there and do demos.
Okay.
And show what you've been building.
Nice. Okay.
So we provide a platform for people to actually share all the things that they're doing.
Okay, so there are multiple ways of communicating and getting engaged. That's really cool. So thanks a lot, Erwin, for coming by.
My pleasure.
It was really a pleasure. And hope to see more commandlets.
There will be more.
Coming. There will be more. Stay tuned. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So here we have another conversation with Erwin. Bonus content talking about music, because when I reached out to you, asking if you have time and willing to do a little interview conversation at the Collab Summit, we quickly found out that we are both into music. And I think you sent me a picture of your room with 7 synths or
12.
Sorry. Okay. with 12 synths.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
So you're doing that for quite a long time.
Yeah. You hear me hesitate. So as a young child, very young child, I had a neighbor with an electronic organ,
Okay.
a really classic electronic organ. I was fascinated by that instrument, and she gave me a few lessons, and I learned to play very simple pieces.
Okay.
My parents saw that. They like, okay, we're going to put him on real lessons. I had 2 lessons and it didn't work. I just couldn't relate to the person. It just didn't connect, and it was terrible. It was a pain. So I gave up. Nothing happened, and then I became a student, and I bought a very simple Yamaha keyboard. Small keys, very simple, very cheap, all I could afford. I was drooling about the big synthesizers at the time. We're talking the 80s right now. And really drooling about them, but I could never afford them. A couple of years later, I bought a somewhat bigger machine, but never really did something. And then 5-6 years ago, I suddenly snapped like, but listen, I have an okay job, I'm making okay income right now. I can buy those synthesizers that I wanted as a student.
Okay.
And I bought them secondhand. So I bought a Roland D50.
Okay. DX7, something like this?
I didn't buy DX7.
Oh, okay.
No, I bought a D50.
Okay.
And it needed some TLC. Some of the keys were not working, so I had to open it up and learn about that too, and clean it on the inside. And that's where I took off. And I suddenly started to and then I bought a Korg OW/W, and I have an Ensoniq now, and
And you're constantly recording things?
No, that started actually pretty soon after I bought the D50. I actually started to play in the company band that I was working at the time.
All right.
Yeah. So we did some rock music, and then I was like, okay, my style is maybe not necessarily rock music. So I was like, okay, I want to do something on my own. And then I started to record my own stuff, and then I took the big leap to publish it to YouTube. That was really scary. Really? I thought that was really scary. Because what do people think? What do people think? And so do they like it? Do they hate it? Is it and I had to learn a lot. And so I've been doing that now for a couple of years, and it's slowly taking off.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure the reactions were really
People are
positive,
very
right?
positive. Yeah. No, absolutely,
that's-
absolutely. Yeah. I didn't get any negative reactions. No. So so I've been growing up I mean, nowadays it's more modern instrumentation that I have. I have an Hydra synth standing now. This is an amazing synthesizer, and an Yamaha Mod X. This is an all-in-one machine that does everything. And then, but my main keys, that's a Kurzweil. Kurzweil K2700.
Okay. And you, I think you wrote me. So you're able to read. You could read a chart.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting too. So I like really much like the orchestral, pompous, big soundtrack kind of things. And
so like the orchestra or like synth, like Evangelist and
that too. Evangelist, I did a lot of covers of Evangelist. Like 20 plus of those actually. And then, but I also like the Hans Zimmer big kind of thing.
Movie scores.
Yeah. But also the John Williams style, pure orchestral things.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to like see, can I pull that off on my own? And so I found the scores of that, and then I was able to read music like, that's a C, and that's an E, that's an F. And I'm still a bit on that level, a bit easier now. Yeah. But then I taught myself to read the director's score, where you see all the instruments on a page, all of them. So that's what I used to make the covers.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Those, not every cover, but a bunch of them I did like that.
Okay, wow.
With the score in front of me, and then
I wish I could do that, because I'm always doing also some stuff with GarageBand, but it's just like go with the flow. Trying something.
Oh, I mean, that works too.
Reading, thinking about sounds.
But if I want to do like an almost identical, I mean, I use a couple of sound libraries, orchestral libraries. One is from East West, and the other one is from Spitfire Audio. They're very complete.
Yeah.
Sadly, they're also very expensive, but they are very complete, and they have basically the whole orchestra in there, from like piccolo flute all the way to bass and the whole drum session.
Percussion
session, everything.
Yeah, okay.
It's all in there. And then I use those. And I usually mix and match those, because sometimes they don't have all the articulations, like the staccato and this and that and that and that.
Okay.
So some of them have other articulations that you need to switch to.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a real instrument. It's a key that you play. You can't put all that feeling into one key press. So you have to switch articulations on the fly.
Okay.
And so this,
Okay, so this is also probably there are some parallel things to PnP PowerShell, because you have to have a love for details, right? And attention to details, right? I mean, maybe there's some similarity. That's what I always find when I'm also doing some music, and it takes me 10 minutes to do something and 2 hours to mix it and to get the right sound.
Right.
It's part of to make it good.
Yeah, exactly.
So you like it. Right?
And I have an ear for details, because I remember like listening to a piece of music with my wife, and I was like, did you hear that oboe piece there? And she was like, oboe? No, there. Well, then I seem to be able to listen to a specific instrument in the whole picture, like figure out what that one is playing and what is this one playing, and so that's I love doing that. It's and for me, it's like I have my studio in the same room as where my work desk is, so it's just basically turn around, roll a bit backwards, and that's where my studio is. So it's my way to forget the world.
That's exactly what I'm doing as well. It's like keep diving into a totally different world and being creative and just forget everything. Nice.
My weakness is percussion. That is still something I have to. I find percussion difficult. To come up with creative percussion
rhythms and beats. Okay.
That is absolutely my weakness.
Okay. I mean, I have a drumming background, so maybe we could do something together, right? So you could provide some beats and rhythms for your composition.
I mean, I have all the instruments. For me, it's like, that's. I'm not saying that it's only that, but I mean, sometimes I use like, creative deletions. I just fill up a track with like boom, 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 and I was like, no, take that one away, that one away, that one away. And I'm like, oh, that sounds actually okay.
That's how I do it sometimes as well. It's like it's a nice thing. It's just about playing around, finding out it works, or maybe I have to add or remove something.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I think you just released some piece, last week, I think, right?
Last week. I've been recently released a lot of covers.
Okay.
A lot of covers. I had a lot of time. I had a little sabbatical of a couple of months where I basically didn't work. I just could do whatever I want. And I spent time behind my keys. So I released a lot of covers. And last couple of covers were actually some Eurovision songs that were from the last Eurovision.
Okay.
That actually got a lot of attention from people. But then last Friday I published one of my own pieces.
It was great.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Can we expect more?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though now you're starting a new job, right? So
I started a new job. Yeah. I work now for MondayCoffee.
Yeah. So, but still, there will be some more music coming.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Cool. No worries there.
So there's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So thanks again for having this conversation about a totally different topic, but maybe somehow related.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. And see you later.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.